Hi everyone, welcome back to another guitar tutorial. Thanks a lot for joining me today. We're going to be having a look at some classic blues turnaround ideas in today's lesson. Three kind of traditional sounding blues turnarounds that you probably will have heard before, but we're going to be looking at some variations, some chord based, some more lead guitar based, and how you can use these as both turnarounds and as endings as well. So hopefully be able to add these into your blues playing really quickly. For those of you that don't know, traditionally a blues turnaround is the last two bars normally of a 12-bar blues progression, and its sole purpose is really to provide like an interesting feel or some chord movement to take us back around to the start of the piece of music again, or indeed as an ending. So we'll be looking at both of those options as well. So without further ado, we'll jump straight into the lesson. If you enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more videos, and let's get cracking with today's lesson. Okay, so the first thing just to mention is that all the examples we're going to have a look at today are going to be in the key of E, and they're all based around a traditional 12-bar blues shuffle kind of idea. So they will all apply really well to that kind of style, although you can really apply it to any kind of blues. The first one is a chromatic rundown, and so I'll play it for you first. I'm going to play the last 4 bars of an E blues, and then show you how it sounds, and then we're going to break it down and have a look at it after that. Pretty straightforward. I'm sure you'll have heard this kind of sound before. It's based around an E7 chord, and so to start off with, we're going to just take a normal regular E and then take the third finger off of that chord. Okay, now all we're going to do is basically take that shape and move it up to the 5th fret so that your second finger is on the 5th fret, exactly the same shape. And we're going to pick the 5th string, the A string, followed by the G string, followed by the A string again. So then we're going to move that shape down by 1 semitone, so 1 fret, and do exactly the same picking. 1 more fret, same again. Now when we get to the final point of the 2nd fret there, we're going to play the 5th fret of the A string on its own, then an open E, that's the low E, a slide up with the 3rd finger into the 4th fret of the E string, and then an open A, 1st fret A, and then 2nd fret of the A string. And then we're basically, that's going to lead us into this B7 sharp 9 chord. So you could just play a regular B7 here. We're going to play this B7 sharp 9 like the Hendrix chord. It's a really cool sound to lead us back into the start again. That's the 2nd fret of the A string, 1st fret of the D string, 2nd fret of the G string, and then the 3rd fret of the B string. Okay, so all together, 5th fret, 4th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret A string, open, slide, O, 1, 2, B7 sharp 9 chord, and then that's going to take us back to the start of our blues shuffle. We could also use this as an ending, of course, so that would be exactly the same thing, but just finishing on an E7 chord after the B7. That kind of thing. So there are a couple of things you can do to this, a couple of variations we can add in that are going to just make it a little bit more interesting and obviously from a playing point of view a little bit more technical. And the first one of those is really to use some hybrid picking. So that's where we're going to use the pick and fingers to play the strings. And the way this is going to work is we're going to basically play the same shapes again. So we're going to do the same little rundown, but this time instead of picking 5th string, 3rd string, 5th string, we're actually going to pick both of them together at the same time. The 5th string with the pick and the 3rd string with your 2nd finger. And then what we're going to do is add the open E string, the high E this time, on top. So again, what we're playing there is the 5th string and the 3rd string together, and then the open E, and then the 5th string and 3rd string together again, before we move down a fret. finish there. We don't play the E string after we've got to that last one. This time we're going to put that slide in just like we did it in the original version. Okay, so this sounds like this. So turnaround number 2 is going to be based around some lead playing ideas now. So this is going to be utilising the E minor pentatonic scale, as well as adding in a major third as well in there to highlight the E7 chord. I'll play it through for you first from bar 9 of our blues again, and then we'll break it down after that. So. So let's break this down step by step. We're going to start on the A note here at the 2nd fret of the G string and slide up to the B note, which is the 4th fret of the G string, followed by the 3rd fret of the B string, which is the note D, and we're actually going to hold those two notes down together so they kind of ring out into each other, and then finally an E on the high E string, an open E. We're really outlining kind of an E7 kind of sound here. When we play that, we're playing the B, which is the 5th of E, and then D, which is the flat 7, the minor 7 of the E chord, and then the root, which is the high E there. Okay, then we're going to slide back from fret 4 to fret 2. So, and then an open G string. So, followed by 2nd fret on the D string, and then we're going to play the open G string again and hammer on to the 1st fret of the G string, and that's again designed to outline that E7 chord there. So far all together. Next we play the 2nd fret of the D string again, that's the note E, then the open D string, and then we're basically going to play a C7 chord to a B7, and that's using the shape that we used previously for that B7 sharp 9 chord in the last turnaround, and we're going to basically move that up a semitone. So now we're playing the 3rd fret of the A string, the 2nd fret of the D, and the 3rd fret of the G string, and then we're just going to slide that down a semitone, play exactly the same shape. So that's C7 to B7, and then finally we play an open E string, the low E, 3rd fret of the E string with a little tweak, a little bend, and then finally to the 2nd fret of the D string, the note E there. So all together. And then that will take us back into our original 1 chord again. So the last turnaround today is going to be based around a chromatic run again, so quite similar to the first one. This is a really old school, classic sounding, traditional blues turnaround. So here it is from bar 9 again. So we're going to basically start with our little finger on the 5th fret of the B string, and that's the note E, and that's going to stay there throughout. And we're going to be using that hybrid picking again for this. The 3rd finger is going to play the 5th fret of the A string, the note D, and we're going to pick those together. Okay, and basically the idea is we're going to walk down consecutive frets back down to fret number 2, whilst keeping the little finger in place there on the 5th fret of the B string. So. Okay, bit of a stretch that last one. You could just use the open string like we did in the first example, but when we do it like this, it kind of allows us to change the key a little bit, so we can kind of apply it to different keys if we're playing it in A, for example. That kind of thing. So definitely worth trying to get that stretch from the little finger down to the 2nd fret of the A string. So one more time. Now what I like to do here, actually, just thinking about it, is I'll play the B string twice. So and then the open A string, walking into our B7 chord again. And then I'm going to pick the high 3 strings descending. So, okay, and that's going to then take us back to our 1 chord. So all together. So one last thing just to mention is the first turnaround can actually be used really well going the other way as well, so ascending as well as descending. So in our example we did going down, but it actually works just as well going the other way. So a classic example of that would be Bring It On Home by Led Zeppelin, the ending of that song, which is the same idea but played an octave higher. So here at the 14th fret, the little finger now is going to be on the 17th fret on the B string. So kind of combining those two turnarounds that we looked at, and that's walking upwards. Into an E7 chord. So I really hope you found that useful. These are really cool ideas that you can get into your playing really quickly. Hopefully there's enough in there, especially with some of the right hand techniques, to give you something new to work on, something challenging for your own playing. Experiment with putting them in different keys. Hopefully you get plenty of mileage out of them as well. If you enjoyed the lesson, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. And I look forward to seeing you again, hopefully in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.